guys, happy Seed Bead Saturday. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today I'm going to be presenting a cool design that is made with gemstones from the Winter Birthstone collection from Sam's Bead Shop. So most of the stuff I'm featuring today you can get at Sam's Bead Shop, actually all of it. And if there's any questions you guys have about like how to find stuff, just let me know. And I can also point you to the email for customer support for Sam's Bead Shop if you have any questions about ordering or anything like that. But I'm going to be showing you how to do herringbone with the Winter Birthstone custom gemstone strand. And so I'll get you an up-close view of that in a minute here, but it's basically the multi-gem faceted rounds. And they are like a Winter Birthstone mix of 4 to 4.3 millimeters. And the strand has a mix of amethyst, red garnet, and an orange hessonite garnet. So very, very beautiful, gorgeous design. And it is combined with the Winter Birthstone's seed bead mix. And this is an 8.0 seed bead, Miyuki seed beads. And it's inspired by amethyst and garnet. So it's got a lot going on in the way of beautiful color. There's a project PDF for today's class, and that can be found at the link in the description. Or you can just go to Sam's Bead Shop, and it's literally right there in the header, samsbeadshop.com. In the header, there's one that says Winter Birthstones, and you click on that, and it's got all the products, and including links to my class from last week too, that featured some of the related stones, and the 11.0 mix that matches this one. So lots of content coming your way. I'm gonna just show you really quick as we get through it what we're gonna be doing. We're gonna be doing a ladder stitch, super easy ladder stitch, and then we're gonna move into herringbone. And from herringbone, we're gonna be doing a 2-jump step up to do the addition of the 4 millimeter gemstone, and then resuming a regular height herringbone stitch after that. And I'll show you just a little modification to the thread path to make that happen. And from there, you just keep going. And then I'll show you how to put the clasp on. And the clasp I'm using is also available at that link for the Winter Birthstones. So all pretty cool, pretty cool. So let me show you the materials up close. And also I have a couple quick announcements as far as like giveaways and stuff. I'm going to be doing another giveaway today. I'm going to do another Silver Salt gift card. And so that is #winter. Oh, and let me just pop that banner up for you guys. I forgot to do that. So winter is our hashtag for the giveaway today. And I'm going to be doing another gift card for Silver Salt. And speaking of that, I wanted to just do a quick shout out. I have a list of folks who have won the giveaways that I have not heard from. And so if you are here today, I'm looking for Lily B. Rocks. You won those Christmas trees I did a little bit ago. MTG Cat Mom, we had a postal thing happening with the postal strike. I think that's over now. If you get in touch with me, remind me. I've still got your Stacy's kit. And then Sherry Thomas, you won last Monday for the Silver Salt gift card, but I never heard from Sherry Thomas. That's Sherry with an IE at the end. All right, so yeah, find me, Danielle at DanielleWickesJewelry.com, or just send me a message through any of my other social media channels, and I can get you in touch with your prize. All right, so let's see. I'm gonna zoom in on my mat, and I'm gonna talk details on beautiful beads and how we're gonna do the class today. So I have a bunch of in-process stuff happening here. Here's the finished one. And it comes out so cool. And when you're wearing it, when you move your wrist, it just sparkles. And it's so magical. I just sit there staring at my arm. It's very mesmerizing. And it's so easy to do. It actually comes together really quick because we're using nice 8.0 seed beads. So super, super handy. And then the clasp that I've used, I believe, you know what? I do need to double check this with the team at Sam's, but I believe these are tiara cast, but I don't know if they're new tiara cast or old tiara cast, if that makes sense. So the new ones are made in Greece, and the other ones, of course, were made in Sonoma, California, or Santa Rosa, forgive me. But in either case, they're beautiful, and they are very high quality metal, and they're very shiny and gorgeous. And they did a real good job on finishing this bracelet. So that's what I'm going to be finishing with. And the thread that I'm using, I used a Fireline beading thread, but you could also use Wildfire, and any of those thicknesses is probably going to be just fine. For my needle, I'm using size 10 beading needles. These are the hard beading needles. You could use various sizes. I'm using a 10, but this is really flexible. All right, and last but not least, if you want to do an earring, I'm not sure, it depends how fast I get through the demo today, but I have a little bonus earring. Thank you, Jody. Yeah, I love this bracelet. I have a really good time with it. I did a little bonus earring. It's really simple loops and a head pin, but I integrated another gemstone, which is a star cut, I believe is what it's called. It's just such a beautiful amethyst, and it has another little glamour of sparkle that you could add just to complement your bracelet. So let's see. Let's go ahead and just dive in. I'm going to show you the gemstone strand really quick. I'm down to the last of it, but I'll have enough to finish this one. But they basically come with the 3 gems, and they're color blocked like that. How cool is that? So you can see all the different flows of color there. I've got some ready to go here. This one I got about halfway before having to add thread, so I wanted to tell you guys about adding thread. This one's ready to show adding thread, and additionally I can show putting the clasp on using this one. So we'll jump to that when we get to that spot. Just thinking out loud here, I'm going to work with some wildfire at first, because I did work with frost, but I think like you could use a darker color and it would still look cool. But to be able to see what I'm doing today, I think I need to work with a darker color so that you can really see everything. Oh, and last but not least, I didn't even show the beautiful bead mix yet. Isn't that gorgeous? So, so pretty. I think it held it up when I was tiny screen. But so this is a full tube. I've still got, actually, in case anyone's asking how much you need, let me give you some quick data really quick. So this is what I have left of the first container after all that. And so I do think one is going to be plenty to get you an entire bracelet and some extra. I'm looking for my measuring. I went for a beaded length I went for 6 inches because with the clasp, way I did the clasp, it's going to make it 7 1/4, because it really does pop out your length there, the way that I did that attachment. So that's going to give you a pretty good bracelet. And then of course, if you needed to add, you're still going to make it lots of this. Also, the gemstone strand is really, really generous as well. So far, I've done all my projects with just 2 strands, and I still have this left. That includes the heart pendant that I did for last week. So I only needed 2 strands to do all of that and still have that left. So I think 1 strand's plenty for a bracelet, even doing the color blocking. All right, so hopefully that helps out somebody figuring out their measures and stuff and how much to buy. Let's jump in. Now let's start with our ladder stitching. And I'm just taking a quick look at my chat. If I missed anything, just give me a shout, and I will jump in and answer that as best I can. Oh, also, I just discovered there's a little way to tie off on the wildfire spools that I never knew about. So it's pretty cool. I'm going to start with a wingspan of thread, and the wingspan will get you pretty much most of the way through about yay much. So you're going to get 3.5 inches roughly on a wingspan. A wingspan for me, 65 inches or so. And after that, you'll want to add thread. You don't want to go much longer than that, or you're going to get lots of knots, and knots are no fun. And adding thread in herringbone is super easy. Okay, so once again, this is a size 10 beading needle. And I'm just going to thread that and pull down some length to make it a little easier to manage. And let's pick up 4 seed beads. And let me just double check one thing really quick. I want to see, I'm going to give you the exact amount of tail to leave. It looks like I left a 12-inch tail. And so the 12-inch tail is going to be what you need to do this attachment here. So leaving about 12 inches here on the bottom of my wingspan, roughly there, I've got 4 beads strung. Jennifer says she's obsessed with adding thread. Yeah, I'm so glad. Well, can you come and add thread to all of mine? Because I still what's the word? Procrastinate. I procrastinate on that. I don't know why. You think I'd be with it by now, but I'm moving too fast lately. I don't know. But so there's 4. And I've been randomly selecting from the mix, but somehow magically I picked up 2 and 2. I'm not sure how I did that. And so what you'll want to do is string that. And so this is my working side where my needle is. And over here, this is my tail side. And I'm going to go through the first 2 beads, entering from that tail side. So just want to get through those first 2. And pull your thread through. And you'll get a little box. And that's just the first part of your ladder stitch. So you got that going. And once you get that to pop into a box shape, go ahead and go through the next 2. And you can use your thumbnail to tighten everything if you'd like, just like that. And then just leaving our tail behind, we're going to complete the rest of the ladder row for a total of 8 stacks of 2 using stacks of 2. So picking up 2, going back through the last 2, and then just pull tight, and you'll get another stack sitting next to the former set there. We'll just head up through those beads, ready to add the next one. Oh, Sharon says she's watching from DeWitt, Iowa. Oh, cool. What's the weather? Are you guys getting snow? I feel like the East Coast got snow or something like that recently. We're about to. It is cold today. Oh my goodness. I got out there and I was like, whoo. Because we had pretty mild temps up until about a couple days ago. Now the temperature is just dropping. And it's getting quite chilly. So there's 4. Here's my next set. Oops. Those wanted to jump. There we go. Oh, cold and windy. Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah, wind chill can really get you. That's true. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5. Here's number 6. This part goes pretty good, pretty fast. So there's that. Oh, wow. Vanessa says upstate New York's going to get 4 to 7 inches. Wow. That's amazing. Yeah, here in Seattle, where I am located, we don't really know how to handle the snow very well. I mean, some people do, but by and large, everyone just kind of stays home until it's over. It doesn't last very long. But sometimes we lose power, so that's always bad. All right, so let's just take a count here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need 2 more. Given how much seed beads I had left from making this from the single tube, I'm wondering if I could have done some color blocking or striping patterns or something. So that's something to think about. Oh my gosh, -42. Is that in Celsius or Fahrenheit? Oh my goodness. I'm assuming it's the one that's like less cold, but if I'm picturing it in, yeah, I'm picturing that like 42 below. That can't be. Oh my gosh. Yikes. Yeah, I would be staying inside beading, that's for sure. But so there's 8. So once you've got this, you're ready to go to the next step. And I'll just pop that up real quick so you guys can see, and we'll walk through it together. So we just finished this step here at the top with the ladder stitching. So you can see we got those stacks finished. And now what we're going to do, moving down to that second illustration, is we're exiting currently from that bottom bead. We're going to just make a little turn, and the thread will show on the side of the bead. That never has bothered me. I've always liked that look, but if you don't like that look, there is a way you can weave around, but it's going to be a little easier to do it this way, faster and more flowy. So I recommend just not worrying about the little side thread. And that's kind of just the style I've always liked. And that's what I did here. So just gonna go through the 2 beads here. So let's go ahead and bring this one back. All right, so you just want to do a step up like that. And sorry, the illustration I was showing you from before was showing after having done this next row, but it's the same thing. You just want to leave the thread showing a little bit on the side. And in fact, on that bead, you can't even really see it. And let me show you on the other sample what it would look like with the white thread. If you really wanted to, you could even try to put a white bead in the places where you're going to have step ups. Like that could be another way. All right, so let's do our first row of herringbone. So we just finished that. I like to flip the work so that I'm working from left to right. And that's just a preference. It doesn't actually matter which way you hold it. But you're going to pick up 2 seed beads and then go through the next stack of 2. And you'll be exiting from that first stack. And then we'll head up to the next one. Pick up 2 more. And we'll go down through that one. Up through the next ones. Just keeping that tail out of the way. 2 more. And what you'll notice is this really cool little V shape that the beads take on. It looks really nice. All right. So 1 row done, just like that. So I'm going to do a step up from here. I'm going to skip the bead that I'm exiting from and go through these 2 beads. And so this is what's shown in that second illustration on the handout. And Kara, you can get these instructions a couple of places. There's a link in the description for this video, but you can also just go to samsbeadshop.com and it's right there, Winter Birthstones. Click on that and it's in that. It's on that page too. And then from here, what I did, let me show you the kind of convention. You can do however many rows and repeats, like as you would like. But what I usually do is I like to start with a little bib and end with a little bib as well. So you'll see I did 5 rows. That includes the laddered rows, which was 2, right? Counts as 2. We just did number 3. So I did 2 more before starting to add the gems. And that's just style. You can do 4, 3. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a cool. It's a cool advice to do a Sharpie color over your white thread. Yeah, that's a good idea. That way you get both of the benefits. You get the benefit of that nice translucent, the translucent beads, like for example, some of these. You get a different look if it has white thread versus. Let me show you really quick in case that's interesting. I'm going to string one of these. So here it is on white thread. And this is a transparent bead. So it's going to look brighter on that crystal thread. And then if I string it onto my wildfire, see, you can kind of see it. I don't know if it's staying in focus or not. Sorry about that, guys. But I think it actually, I don't think it's going to detract too much from your work. You can go with whatever color you like. I feel like it's going to be good no matter what. But if you'd like to use crystal, yeah, that's a great idea to use the Sharpie. So let's make 2 more rows really quick. And then I'll show you adding these stones, which is kind of the really interesting part, because a lot of you guys I know already know herringbone really well. So picking up 2. And so in this row, since we don't have the stacks of 2 ladder to go through, we just go up through the next bead. And that's how you'll be doing it from here to the end. So going through the 2 is just a starter thing if you did stacks of 2 for your laddering. I just find it easier to ladder stacks of 2 than just laddering a single bead. It tends to get a little bit wonky, so that's why I tend to start ladders that way. Oh, thank you, Zakaya. Oh, that's so cool. Thank you for saying that. I love herringbone. It's like my favorite stitch, I think, still. I know I say that about every stitch, but this one really is like so soothing and so fun. All right, and so with this one, oh yeah, Donna, thank you so much. Yeah, this mix is gorgeous. They did a really nice job on that one. All right. So there's 4. And here's another step up. So it's going to jump up to that bead. And I'm going to do one more row. And at the end of the next row, I'll show you a turn. I don't like to do that turn, but I'm going to show it to you anyway, just in case you like it. That hides the thread. It just makes the beads not sit completely in a V on the side that you do the turn. And that's maybe possibly a tension thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm pulling too tightly when I do that turn. I'll show it to you so you can decide which one you like better. Oh, and if anyone does a color block with this mix, please share it. I want to see it with a mix, color blocking mix. I might have to do that. Okay, so here's the last one. Yeah, Dana says the favorite stitch is the one you happen to be doing it. Yeah, exactly. It is definitely true. We just love all seed beading. Okay, so this is where you would normally, or at least in my case, normally do a step up like that, right, into the next bead. By far the fastest way. Okay, so there's 2 methods you can use to do the turn. There's one method that my friend Karen from Mount Forest Beadery likes to pick up the thread bridge from the column below. So do you see the thread bridge here? You can grab that one, then head back up through these 2 beads. That's one way. The other way is to go ahead and jump over through the adjacent bead to the one that you just went down through. So you can do that. And then zip over and head up through that edge bead. And I'm going to hold this up really close to the camera after I make that turn. And I'm going to show you what I mean about the V's. Maybe it's okay. Maybe it doesn't really matter that much. But this one is just a smidge flatter than the others. Does it bug me? I don't know. Maybe a little. You can also kind of sort of see where I did the turn with the thread. But again, maybe that's okay too. So try all 3 of those. See which one really lights you up. The one that the thread bridge turn, I didn't show you that one completed. So maybe I'll just back out and show you that one completed so you can see all 3. I'm just going to head back through here. Okay, so here, right where we left off at the end of that row, heading down through this bead, you can come from behind the work and grab that thread bridge. Earlier, I was showing it from the front just to kind of highlight what I'm doing, but it's that one that I'm picking up. Easier to do by bringing your needle from behind the work to kind of get under it like that. See? Pull that through and then head up through the 2 beads. And that gives you a side sway. Do you see it a little bit? But it's still good. So pick from those, see which one you like. Definitely experiment because everyone has their own hand and their own style and just what they like doing. And there's nothing wrong with either of those methods. They're both great methods. All right. And so this is how many rows that I made before going into the jummies. So there's 5 rows, and that's to start. And I also end with 5 rows, but we'll show that on this other one. So I'm going to pick up 2 beads and a gemstone. And on the design that I have going here, I had kind of a little flow going with rose. So here it starts with the orange hessonite garnet. It goes to the red garnet, goes to the amethyst, back to the red, to the orange, to the red, to the purple. Depending on where you start, you'll end up using more or less of one color. So if you want to just go random, your gemstone strand will go further. So just a little FYI on that. I did do a pattern for mine. Looks like this one I started differently. I started with the, actually, hang on. Looks like I started with the amethyst on that one. And then went to orange and then to the dark red. So I did a different thing on each of these. And they both look really cool. If you did a color block, you could do something like that as well, where the colors are standing out more. I'm going to go random right now because I'm down to just a few. So let's bring those on. And again, that was 2 seed beads and a gemstone. And let me just show you a quick visual just in case it helps anybody. So here's what we did. We did a step up, and then we did a couple versions of step ups. And now I've strung 2 beads and a gemstone. And I'm going to be going down through the next bead and then coming up through the next one after that. String 2 more, new gemstone. We'll keep going like that until we get to the end of the row. So here's 2 and a gemstone. I'm going to go down through the next bead here. And I'm just going to tighten that up. And what will happen is your little gemstone and beads will sit like that. And then just like normal, go up through the next bead and the next column. And I'm going to pick up 2 more. And I'm going to chase gemstones around my mat. Come on, gemstones. So there's that one. Oh, Tana says she likes the mixed colors. Thanks. And Donna says she missed the gem size. Yeah, 4 millimeters-ish. Some of them are like 4.3 millimeter. Some of them are closer to 4. And that variation doesn't make the stitch that different. Like, in fact, if we look really closely at the 2 gems I've got right here, you can tell that one's just a tiny, tiny bit bigger than that one, but it's not enough to throw the stitch away. It still works. And so here's the next one. Ha, got that one on the first try. And one more, we're going to pick up 2 of these and a gem and head down to the next bead. Oh, thank you, Carolyn. I'm so glad you love it. It's also just such a really pleasant stitch up. It's like a beautiful, flowy, easy to do, nice meditative stitch. It's very relaxing. And I feel like anything that feels that good while you're making it is going to be even as beautiful when you wear it. So, and Donna's asking, would 3 millimeter work? So a 3 millimeter bead is about the same size as an 8/0 seed bead. So you would not need to add 2 beads. So you know how I was picking up 2 and then the 4 millimeter gem and going down? You could accomplish this with just adding 1 bead and replacing the second seed bead in that herringbone stitch with the 3 millimeter gem. They're going to be roughly equivalent if they're truly 3 millimeter. Like, because these seed beads are about that size. So it comes out, experiment, definitely, but you might find it's too short if you're adding 2 like we did there. All right, so I went down through that bead, and I'm just going to do my simple step up, but feel free to use any method that you like for your step up. Just going to get through that gem. There we go. And if when you do your step up, it loosens it a bit. See how I kind of loosened it a little bit? Before you complete that, you can pull the needle through and then just go ahead and grab that thread that's coming down and just give it a tug so it's a little tighter. Then you can pinch everything in your hand and hold it. while you pull the rest of the thread through. And you'll get a nice little snug, oops, sorry about that. You'll get a snug step up that way. Nice and easy way to do a turn. Oh, thanks, Donna. I'm so glad you like it. So we finished adding our gems. So what I like to do on, and then this was just me deciding like what looked cool. You can absolutely change this up. I just did 2 normal rows after every gem row. So there's 2 normal rows, gem row, 2 normal rows, gem row. And just feel free to make 3 rows, or you could even get away with 1 row. I liked 2 because it gave me an even number of transition points from what I'm about to show you. So let me just one more time bring this up and look at the second illustration there. When we're going to be adding just normal row, you're going to need to, when you do your herringbone stitch, you're going to need to go down through 2 beads to make up for the height of that 4mm gem. So for each one, you're going to be going down 2. You only need to do that for the first row after a gem row. And then all the rows after that subsequently are normal herringbone rows until you introduce another gem row. So it becomes really easy just to keep going with that flow. That's why I did 2, because if I do 2 rows, I get to do a normal gem row before a normal herringbone 8/0 only row before starting another gem row. So I've got 2 regular just seed beads here to do this next one. Let me get those to sit right there. And I needed to go down through 2 beads, but you see I only went down through 1. You'll notice because you won't have anywhere to turn and go up through. And you don't want to go down through just 1 and try to go through the gem. Or what you'll have is you'll have a thread crossing. You'll have thread coming from that bead going into that bead, and you'll see it quite dramatically. It'll also give it a sway. If you guys remember, we did the rope with the kind of like swirly herringbone. You remember how you step down 1 more bead and then up 1? That's going to give it a little spin. So you want to make sure you go down when we add these 2 beads, going down through 2 beads. Definitely will be tricky to remember when you first get started, but you'll see it. You'll see it at this spot right here. When you do your head up through the next bead, it'll be a gemstone. And if you didn't go down through 2 beads, you'll see a dramatic thread crossing like from there to there versus that, which is what you want to see. Just a nice gentle jump from here to here. So let's get 2 more. And again, I need to remember to go down through 2 beads. I'm going to help those sit side by side. I'm going to go through the gem. And let's get 2 more and go through 2. We'll head up through the gemstone. And 2 more. And this time, if you want, you can just go down through 1. If you're going to do a turn any other way than this, though, you will need to go down through 2. So if you're doing the thread bridge turn, the thread bridge is down here. If you're doing the turning turn, again, you're going to need to go down through 2 beads. But to do the thread step up, you can get away with just going through the 1. There we go. So I'm going to head up through here and check that out. Now we're back to normal herringbone rows. Let's do one really quick. And then we'll do another gemmy row, and I'll check in with you guys, and then we can see if you got it, we'll just jump over to add in thread. But this is a regular herringbone row where you're just going to pick up 2. You only have to go down through 1 bead now. It's nice because it actually brings it all together too. Then you go up through 1. So down through 1, up through 1 for each column. And there's my step up. So it's looking really nice. And that's how I did it. So let's add a gem row. I'll pick up 2 and try to get a gem. There we go. So 2 beads and a gem. And then remembering, in this case, I just need to go down through 1. This is normal row so far, just we're stacking 2. 2 8-ohs and 1 gem. And 2 more 8-oh and 1 gem. Let's get 2 more. It's so tricky to find those. There we go. Ah. My thread hugged the side of my mat and this went flying. There we go. And a cool thing is it has a little like zip. So like each time you do one of these rows, it's going to go a little back and forth thing happening there. Just tightening here. There it is. See how fast this goes? This does not take long. You'll have a bracelet done in less than a day. And so 2 more beads. I'm going to do a regular 8-oh row, but remember you got to go down through the 2 just when you're coming from a gem row. And I'm going to try to go up through the gem without loosening my work. There we go. And down through 2. I love this bead on it board, but it has a little corner and it keeps grabbing my long thread. It's only really an issue if the thread's super, super long like it is right now, but here we go. Oh, sorry. I didn't need to pick up a gem. What am I doing? There we go. And just because I'm here at the edge, I'll just go down through 1 and up. So from here, I would just do a regular herringbone row and double secure. Oh, Lorena, I'm not sure. Do you mean double secure like at the end when I weave in, or like when we're putting the clasp on? Because I don't go through like all of the stitches again for sure. I don't do that. That would take like, I'm not even sure I could get through them all, but oh, you know, I was just looking over here. Oh, I see. I just wasn't very tight there. But yeah, no, I do definitely reinforce closures with clasps for sure. All right, so I'm gonna just take a quick look at the chat. What do you guys think about moving on to showing more of how to finish it? Because I feel like this is just a repeat and repeat and repeat from here. Oh, Donna, yeah, it does feel like a cable knit sweater. I like watching them evolve too. I like how they come together. It's really fun to see. And so literally like not very long after beginning, you'll have a pretty good length going. And you'll probably get at least this far if you did a wingspan before your thread starts getting short. So that's where I ended up right here. So once your thread's short, let me grab another needle. And, you know, I think I'm going to do my thread addition again with Wildfire just so you can see a little clearer, because I happen to have worked with that light color thread and it's just disappearing on my mat right now. So let's go with one of these. And I'm just going to add a little bit here. You can go with another wingspan. You'll probably get to the... So Tina, what I did, and this is summarized in the PDF as well, But I added gemstones after every regular 2 rows. So I started, there's a gemstone row, and then I did 2 regular rows of 8/0 only. Then I did another row of that 2 stack with gemstone, 2 normal rows, and I kept like that all the way until the end. And then at the very end, I did 5 rows. And 5 rows will get you a match of what we did at the start. But if you did more or less like starting rows in just regular 8/0, you can match that. Whatever you like to do. It actually doesn't need to be 5. It just kind of what I ended up doing. So that one ends up being about 7 1/4. And because it's a toggle, you could say it's more like a true 7 since you have to be able to pull it a little over itself in order to put it on. But the cool thing is that because it is a little bit of a jump out the way I did the attachment, it's really easy to get on. These little pop outs make toggles easy. Actually, I'm just going to wear this. There we go. All right. And so this one's running short of thread. Let me show you where it's at. So it's got a little left, not a whole lot. It's like to right there. So I'm going to leave the old thread in place. Yeah, Zakaya, it's super flowy. I love that about it. And it wears really nicely too. So when you start running short, get your new strand. And this is wildfire, so you'll see me do my little wildfire thread needle trick here. Bring that on. Fold it over. And what we're going to do is bring in a new strand and aim to bring it to the same spot as the old working thread. And so I'm just going to go down through a few beads. And it actually kind of doesn't matter where you enter the work. Like, if you have a spot you want to reinforce, you could do that. I'm just going to bring it in somewhere, like over here. And you don't need much of a tail. Leave a little tiny tail, and the goal is we're going to get it to stop moving as we stitch. And if you have just enough that you can hold on to it, it doesn't lose its place. And you want to follow the existing thread path through your herringbone stitch. So keep in mind it has a direction that it was headed when you were creating it. And you'll want to follow that direction. So for example, when we were making these rows, we were going like that. You'll be able to see that because the V's will be shaped like this. So you want to be going over the V's in the same fashion as you were when you created them. And you can even line up your step ups. If you're doing the outer step up like I am, you can line those up. It'll get you through another row. And just match whatever thread path you have. So you're going to see me go through this whole row to get to where my tail is. And then we'll do a pull test. And I've done this a lot of times, and so I kind of know that one step up and going through most of another row tends to be enough, actually. It's pretty good. And I want to show also that you don't just have to go through one row. You can go down through several columns, like through a column, for example, like this one. If I want to, I can go down through the gem. And then do a step up here through 2. And Michelle's asking if I can use the mushroom trick. Yes, you can, except for 2 exceptions to watch out for. The mushroom trick doesn't work really well with wildfire. So if you're using wildfire, I recommend weaving in. If you're using Fireline, go ahead and try the mushroom trick. But when you go through your gemstones, support them when you pull through the knot. So what happened earlier, I did do the mushroom thing. And what I found is the hole diameter on my stone, it'll go through. It'll go through, but you have to kind of pull it. And when you pull it, it warps your work a little bit. And so in this case, I made just kind of the decision to weave in, and that's why I figured, I'll demo that here. But that said, I think it'll work. I think it'll work, and it worked for me, but I had to be really ginger with it. Like, here's an example. If I was pulling through a knot right now and I'm about to go through this gemstone bead, as I'm going through this gemstone, I'm going to want to support it. So take my fingers and all the work and just hold it really, really tight right here. When you pull that through, because the knot's going to get stuck, and you're going to have to do something like this and just give it a tug. When you do that, it might kind of misshape all the beautiful tension that you've created. And herringbone is a very tension-focused stitch. It has an artistry to the hand that made it. So on this one, just for me, I kind of decided weaving in was the way to go. But yeah, that's just a bunch of data. You can play and try and see. Also, it makes a difference with the weight. So I was using 8-pound, so my knot was pretty big. Now, if you were using 6-pound or 4-pound, maybe you have an easier time getting through the gemstone. So try all that stuff and see what happens. And then let me know, because I haven't tried any of the other thread weights yet for this one. I tend to go heavy if I'm working with gems. I don't know why. Just something it's a reflex, I guess. I'm not sure. So here's a pull test, guys. If you did the weave in this way, when you pull on it, if that tail doesn't move, which mine is very secure, then you're good. You don't have to keep going. I brought it to meet the old thread. There's my old thread right here. Brought the new one right there to meet it. And now I'm going to just burn that tail and create new rows. So from here, all I need to do is create like 3-4 more rows, and then take your old working thread and weave it up into those new rows, and you won't have any disturbance to the nice flowiness of your piece. You won't have any, like, what you don't want to do is double weave in and double weave out. So weaving out is what I call it when you take the old thread and try to weave it in and trim it. If you put it right in the same place, like we could go down through this bead and go all over there, you would have this double weaving in area, and it would start to get kind of thick in that spot. And so it won't be all movement would be kind of impaired in that section, and you would notice it when you're like playing with it and stuff. So that's just something another little piece of info, but you can play with that too and see. So let's see, we're doing good. It's about 47 minutes in, and I want to just double check. Does anybody want to see any more of the stitch, or you guys want to do clasp? If anyone wants to see the stitch any little more, I can do it. I think we got at least a little bit. So just give me a heads up, like clasp or one more row or something like that. Oh, Donna wants to see the mushroom tie-on. Yeah, so the mushroom trick is basically, I mean, I can just show you here really quick. You take new thread, and you take your old thread. It does work best if you're using the same thread. So you see, here's my old thread, my new thread, and then just tie a double knot, or you can do the loop thing. I notice with Fireline, you don't even have to bother doing the loop thing. You can just make a double knot. Make sure it's a tight double knot. And then take the ends of each of those tails from when you did your knot. You're going to have these two little ends right here. And you need a burner or a lighter. I've never really been able to do it with a lighter. I lack lighter skills, guys. But the burner is super easy. You just flatten and flatten this. There's a method that makes this work for the other threads too, but this is the Fireline way. So you get that mushroom there. And that's where it gets its name. So here's the knot we tied. And if you just take and pull apart, keep pulling, you'll get a knot. You could really, really pull on that knot. Like I'm cutting off my circulation. So it's a strong knot. Just cinch together just like that. This knot, you try to pull this knot through one of these beautiful gems, and also it'll be probably passing by some other thread, at least on that second pass. And so just to give you a heads up. See, it's right there, kind of like on the cusp of being a little bit unwieldy getting through a gem like that. Getting through a size 8 seed bead, no problem. Just going to go through that, no problem. Wouldn't do this with 15s unless you're using 4-pound. And with a 4-pound, you'd probably want a thumbnail hold that 15 when you go through it. At that point, it's like it's not saving you the amount of effort that it's, would be worth it if really this is kind of a big bead trick, I feel like. But I'm not going to say I've never done it, because I definitely have. I'm just kind of choosing delay, or the delay of weaving in versus getting quickly added my thread. All right, so how are we doing here? Let's look in the class. So I'm seeing a couple votes for Clasp. Let's jump to that. So I'm going to switch now to put a needle on the bottom of my design. The instructions are the same top and bottom, so no difference there. So what I'm going to show you on the side is the same thing you do on the finishing side. So just go ahead and weave down. And this was the starter row, so I'm going through 2. If this was your ending row, you could just go through 1, and that serves the purpose of laddering. And laddering, you just make one little trip back through and then keep going. That's an optional step at the end if you want to close the ends of your herringbone. You'll see it when you get there. I can show you on this end too when we finish this side. But weave to exit from one of those 2. And if you're just coming from over here, you'll go down, up, and you'll be exiting from the second center one there. And then you'll string 4 seed beads. String your clasp. And slide that down. And then what you want to do is just go through the first 2 seed beads, going back through the first 2. And it'll go like that. Just tighten it up right like that. And then you'll want to pick up 2 more and go down through the other column, the other middle column, because you'll have 2 that are center. And there it is. Super easy way to do it. I've always really liked doing a clasp this way too. Something really fun about that. So you want to reinforce this. And this is where I would probably do this at least 3 times. Go through that. Trying to remember which side I didn't go down yet. There we go. Oops. And so that's basically reinforcing. 3rd time through. And then at that point, you'll be entering into the work. Wherever you want to go from there is up to you. And you just weave in. So to weave in, it's the same thing I showed with adding thread. You just want to go through some beads. And you can go just following that existing path that you've done before with your stitching originally. You can make some step ups. If you're on the starting side, your step ups will be reversed. See how they're kind of going like that? Oops. Yeah, in any case, just keep going a little more and then go ahead and trim it. Oh, that's cool, Tina. That's neat. Yeah, I hope I can see those. If you share them, I'll be looking for them. All right, do you guys want to see how to finish an end? I can show you on this one. Even though this one's not quite where I wanted it to be yet, I'd hope to have a complete one. But I want to show how to finish. Let's pretend, oh, and Nancy's asking, could I do a button as a bead? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, in fact, you could attach your button the same way I did this one, or you could just do a little seed bead loop. And either of those is going to be just perfect. Yeah, that would be really nice. Aw, Tina says she's stuck. Oh no. Okay, Tina, I'll come back to you. Make sure I understand your question. Okay, and so let me see how we're doing. We're getting pretty tight on time. I want to just quickly cover, in case anyone gets stuck at the end, what I mean by ladder the end. So when you finish a row of herringbone, do you see how they're open like that? And whatever row you end on is going to look like that. If you want to, you can add your last row. So see, pick up 2, and then you just go down to the next one. This is just good old herringbone so far, right? Come up to the next bead. If you know this is your last row, optionally what you can do is, instead of picking up 2 beads here, you can pick up 1 and go back through the last 2. So you see like this. And watch what happens if you do that. It connects these so they're not open anymore. And you can come up through both of those beads. And you can add the next bead and go down through it, come up through the next one, pick up another single bead, and then you go back through 2, pull down, and then up through 2. So you see what's happening there? It's laddering those for you. And that will give you the ability to see, I've created, these are the center. Now you just do that same thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, clasp, go back through the 2, add 2, and you loop through that. And that'll get you there. Another way you could do it is you just finish that row regular, like you always do, and then go back through it. And then just do a good old ladder stitch back through it. And that would look like this. Pretend this is the end here. You just go like that. Then you would come up through this one, right? And before you carry on, you could just go back through. That one is a little more thread wieldy, meaning it's going to add a lot of passes. But that's another way you could do, just ladder back through that last row. Because sometimes you forget. You get to your last row, you finish last row, and you're like, hang on, I forgot to do that thingy. And that happens to me a lot too. In that case, I just lazy out and I just ladder that last row. So hopefully that answered questions for everyone. I'd love to do the giveaway now if you guys are up for it. And we're again doing a silver silk gift card for today. Oh, Jennifer says this is a rainy size bracelet. Yeah, it is. It is a rainy size bracelet. It's super cute. So I'm just going to double check and make sure Colleen's ready. You want to do the giveaway? I can talk more too. I can stall if you need me to. Oh, I got a thumbs up. I got a thumbs up. Woohoo! Sweet. And sorry if I missed it. I didn't check as we were going through because this was kind of like a heavy focus one. But if I missed anybody, one of our winners from last time, just don't forget to give me a shout. Because I've got a bit of a backlog going here. And so today's giveaway, #winter, if you want to enter into the chat, you can do #winter as many times as you want. It enters each person one time. Looks like, oh yeah, Nancy, my earrings are a silver silk tutorial called Dangle and Drop Earrings. You can find those on the Silver Silk website. Yeah, I love these earrings. They're like my favorite pair. I wear them all the time. Yay! Asaquena, you won! Awesome. So yeah, send me your email. If I don't already have it, I might. But just in case, it always helps to send it to me so I know I can keep my organizational skills going. And I'll send that right over to you. And so Nancy's asking, did I answer Tina? No, I did not. So Tina, if you want to let me know what your question was again, I think I missed your original question because I only saw your follow-up. Apologies for that. This is one where I was kind of like head down to the mat a little bit more than usual. But yeah, if you just want to pop that into the chat, or alternatively, you can always just get me via email or a messenger after class too, and I can help work through the question you're having on that design. Awesome. Well, hey, I want to wish you guys a great rest of your Saturday, and I hope that you had fun. And oh, here's Tina's question: pastel earrings in this the same way you add earring finder. Oh, that one. I'm not sure which one you're referring to, so maybe get me on Messenger, send me a picture, and then that will click for me. Like, oh, we're talking about that one because right now I'm having trouble putting my brain together. Which one? Sounds like you're talking about one I did for Jill, maybe. Yeah. So let me know if it's that one, and I can follow back to you. All right. Well, hey, I want to say thank you again for being here. And if you guys would like to post to Gem Chat when you finish your design, especially if you do some like spins on this, I would really love to see it. I get super excited seeing all of your beautiful creations in there. And that's in the Facebook group Gem Chat. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Have a great Saturday, and I'll see you for the next one.